Oh shit, I'm live. Holy shit. What's up, guys? It's Roads to Liberty again. Your host, Randall Parker Jr. Today is October 17th, 2014. And we're off to a late start today again, but nobody watches the damn show live anyway, so who the fuck cares if it's late? There we go. Today, I got a lot of stuff planned. Namely, I'm going to eat some carrots. You guys can watch me eat carrots. That's pretty fun. I thought of a lot of things that I'm not going to do today that would be annoying, like reading to you all the people that want to be my friend on Facebook. There's not a lot, but you know who you are if I didn't accept you. No, sometimes I don't. It's not a choice thing. It's just I don't get around to looking at it. But I don't have a lot of Facebook fans or anything like that. When I'm getting close to 100 people following me, though, that's something. Anyway, that's not the point of the show. We're watching Roads to Liberty. If this is your first time or whatever, I'm not usually this much of a jerk off. Usually I have some shit planned. Usually I have a guest or two or some shit like that. Today's October 17th. I have to be out of my current place where I'm staying at November 5th. It's not a long time from now, but I mean, it is a long time from now, but I'm kind of in a month-to-month situation. I'm traveling. I'm doing what some people might understand as agorism. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the phrase agorism. It's just kind of idea of like living off the grid as much as possible, where you're not working necessarily for a paycheck or working necessarily to have a career and stability all in one place. It's more a matter of being free. It's a matter of keeping more of what you make and what you earn too. So I'll leave it at that. But where we're currently staying, me and my girl, we're going to be moving on to another part of the United States for now, and then our goal is to try maybe jump over the pond and hit up Europe. So if we have any European viewers or listeners interested in harboring some anarchist expatriates for a few weeks or a month or two, we don't even like to stay anywhere longer than that. So if you guys have any idea of some cool, maybe just a cool hostel or a cool town that you know is a chill place, like I don't want to say, I hate to say where I'm at while I'm there, but once I move on, I don't mind saying where I've been. But at the same point in time, sometimes I like to go back. I really feel like right now, well, this can be different for everyone else. Some of y'all have kids. Some of y'all, I mean, if you have kids, it doesn't mean, it's just an excuse a lot of people use. If you have kids, people say like, oh, well, you can't go here and there, you can't travel. But especially if you don't have kids, I guess, if maybe you do and it changes you, I guess. But getting out there for me in this past year has helped me a lot, and realizing like what my opportunities are, what my possibilities are, and what I will do when push comes to shove, when shit gets a little hairy. So anyway, so we're pushing on in a couple weeks, I guess a little over 2 weeks basically, and we are still saving up money. We're still trying to see what we can afford and what we want to go for and what's available. We still haven't picked an actual town. So some people might look at that and say, that's anarchy, man. That's really anarchistic, because you're just living wild and you're just doing whatever you want. Anarchy isn't necessarily that. It's not necessarily having no plans or having no rules. It's anarchy just specifies that no one can be in control of you. So in that sense, yes, I mean, some of you may go to a job. Some of you may clock in at work in your normal office jobs, and you might regret that. You might hate the fact that you work where you work. You might hate the fact that you work for who you work for. You might hate your boss. You might hate the owner of your business that you work for. You might hate the fact that you're a school teacher and you always wanted to be a scientist. You always wanted to be a movie star, or whatever the case may be. I think there is something to this. And if you're on Twitter and you happen to be watching this live, you can go ahead and tweet at Roads to Liberty, Roads TO Liberty on Twitter. We are at a perfect equilibrium of 130 followers and following 130 people. So that's never been achieved before in the history of Twitter. So that's a first. We're proud of that. It says here, zero gov. I hope the carrot sound isn't that bad. Not that I have a lot of listeners anyway, but I'm not even using my equipment. properly. Usually I have my microphone and everything set up properly, but like I said, we're getting on the road in a couple of weeks. Getting our car back from the shop right now. That was a pain in the fucking ass. The car had to get a new transmission. Thank God we had a warranty. Anyway, so Zero Gov is retweeting off of Fatal Encounters Twitter account. Apparently, 1624, some 205 people have been killed by U.S. police since Michael Brown. Let's see what the source is on that. That's pretty insane, huh? 205 people died since Michael Brown. That was like 2 months ago. That means that cops killed about 100. Oh, killed by police, the community on Facebook. Facebook.com/killed by police. I'm liking the page now, but I might unlike it later. I'm always pretty reluctant, like Cop Block Radio Show on Facebook. I'm going to follow that on principle. The Stop Mass Incarceration. It's a borderline one. Tribute to survivors of child sexual whatever. You know, I mean, I'm all for that, but do I want that in my newsfeed? You know what I mean? Mothers Against Police Brutality. Now that I like to join. Oh, who's in here? Oh, here's another thing. Let's talk about this. I like looking at Facebook to get inspired for show prep. I'm gonna eat my carrot still while I talk. That's the way the show goes. Anybody in my audience who has their Facebook name like in another character set or Sanskrit or whatever, can you tell me? Do you think, maybe not if you have it, but if anybody knows what I'm talking about, do you think that, see, what I'm afraid of is people who I don't know send me friend requests, and then I feel like they change their profile to be like Arabic type of character sets. Like, I'm not too familiar with what that's exactly called, if it's Sanskrit or what, but I don't care. I have no problem with I'm not like against the language or against people who you know, speak other languages than me, obviously. But in fact, I'm trying to learn other languages. But I just feel like there's some, and this might be paranoid, but I feel like there's some sense of like, not like setup taking place, but I feel like it could be like in the sense where I know for a fact there was a government contract. I can't say I know for a fact, but I heard this on. Geez, this all blends together, but I heard somewhere that there was it might have been on Scott and Horton show, but I heard that there was a government program to like basically make like millions of fake social media accounts on Facebook and Twitter and use it to kind of set people up to look a certain way. So I feel like there's always like maybe the possibility of a plant or a whatever, like a patsy, a fake. So anyway, which way? I'm on Facebook, Texas Cop Block, whatever. So killed by police community, getting sidetracked. There's a serious problem though. I just don't like groups that make light of it or do a bad job covering it or make it into a race issue when it's not necessarily a race issue. I mean, oh my God. As the words are coming to my mouth, I'm like, I'm gonna piss someone off with that, but it's not a race issue because it's just as easy to imagine a world where it goes the other way, where black people or Asian people or whatever are on the top of the food chain, and it's another group which becomes a minority, which, yes, racism is a problem, but it doesn't have to be race. It could be religion, it could be economic, it could be beliefs, it could be anybody you know who's a libertarian, we're looking to round up and throw in a cage or something like that. And you have your friends and your family trying to say like, well, do I have to rat out my son or my nephew or my cousin or whatever the case may be because of their views? So it doesn't have to just be race related. So you could be white and think this is all racial issue, this cop shooting thing. It certainly is a racial issue because, first of all, much more black people, specifically black males, are getting shot by cops than any other segment of the population. There's a lot of things that only black males are known for versus other segments of the population. And at the same point in time, I know a lot of young black men who don't fall into a lot of those categories either. So I take everything with a grain of salt. I take the reporting and statistics with a grain of salt. I also take the biases in the way the information is calibrated and what they're showing versus what they're not showing. And, these studies and percentages and data are not always 100%. Anyway, Chuck Ford is coming up at 9 p.m., as far as I understand, with the Liberty Geek show. For those of you watching live, for those of you not watching live, this is a Anarchy Filibuster episode where we have no guests, we have no script, and I'll just bullshit with you, and I'll occasionally get up to adjust the angle on my camera and or apologize for my shitty audio quality or whatever, or eat a carrot, like this little piece of a carrot, or sip my tea. So we're going to go back and forth between Twitter, Facebook, and a little bit of Reddit and just see if there's anything we're talking about today. And maybe you guys might tweet at me or something too. Okay. So I'd like you guys to try to go to the Facebook page when you get a chance. Follow or like us on Facebook. As of right now, on the 17th of October, 2014, we have 85 likes on the Facebook page. 25 of those people, I know who they are. So that's a potential for me having up to 60 possible fans, people of which I don't know who the fuck they are. So that's pretty fucking cool. You know what? Another thing I want to talk about too is there's nothing special about me. You guys know that for damn sure. I mean, there's something special about all of us, obviously, but I mean, there's nothing special about me that's not special in the same degree in some other way than everyone else, you guys, everyone else. So my point is sometimes I don't know what the fuck I'm going to say, and I don't know what the fuck to make my show about. Truthfully, it doesn't matter. If I had 1 million viewers and then I did a show like this that had nothing to it, no script, no plans, no nothing, and I bombed and like 10,000 people saw it, whatever, fuck it, who cares? I already have 1 million viewers on my other episode, so I'm obviously doing something right. But where I'm at now, I get 400 or 40 or 20 or 90. It doesn't make really big a difference to me. It isn't about me. It's about trying to shake it up and see what works, see what you guys respond well to, and see what helps put forth the message of freedom and the message of liberty better. I told Mike Shanklin almost 6 months ago that hell yeah, I'll do a show on Voluntary Virtues Network. And I've had a great ass time doing it. I did 2 shows so far. I have my show, which is Road to Liberty, you're watching now. We have had a lot of great guests. We've had Blood of the Brave. We have had Lusander Thiem. We've had Michael W. Dean. We've had Nima Vidadi. And we've had Robert Kruger. We've had Chuck Ford. We've had a number of cool guests on the program so far. And we'll have more. And we're looking for guests. But yeah, so go to Facebook. You can just go to facebook.com/Roads to Liberty and like the page. There's only 85 likes, so you'll be part of a pretty exclusive group. And we're not a spammer kind of page. We're a very elite kind of page. I posted on the 12th. I posted on the 4th. I posted on the 3rd. I posted on the 1st. So you see, I don't post a lot, right? But I do want to build up the audience because when I do have something cool to say or a cool guest or something, interesting guest or whatever, then we could share it there. Also, I have something very cool under wraps right now that I'm working on for the Liberty movement, for Liberty people out there, that I'm partnering up with someone else who's involved with Voluntary Virtues Network. I won't say any more than that. I'm going to eat some carrot, make you guys think about that. Fucking love carrot. Oh my God. Probably the most annoying food to eat on a podcast because it's like the loudest fucking thing in the world. But I'm starving to death. And you guys only got about a half hour left if you want to watch the whole show. It may not get better than this, but it might. You never know. Watch this is the biggest, most shared episode I've ever done. Or watch it get to 0 views. I don't really care. Anyway, Road to Liberty on Facebook, that'd be cool. Ethan from Ed and Ethan, you know, he made a good point recently. He just said, what's so hard about, or he said tough, what's so tough about the idea of separating the concept of government from geography? Ponder on that while I eat my carrots some more. What's so tough about the idea of separating the concept of government from geography? Good point. Good fucking point. So, one thing I will recommend to you guys is, it's the last of the carrot, by the way. If you guys want to feel more free in your lifetime, if you want to feel like less a sense of being controlled, look at the area where you're being controlled, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's with your parents, whether it's with your lifestyle, your school or your job. Do something about it. You know what I mean? You don't have to go where you go. You don't have to do what you do. You don't have to be with who you're with. You can always control those things. You can always change that. Freedom is not just with regards to what's written on paper somewhere, that there's a constitution, there's a law, or a cop thinks he can do this or that. Don't get pulled over. Yeah, it sucks you can't do whatever you want, but even in a free society, there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't go 90 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone that's, you know, posted 25 miles an hour. And there's not a lot of places where you can go 80 on a road that you feel safe doing 60. So I don't really worry about the speed limits. I'm very rarely unable to travel as fast as I want to due to a speed limit. When it is the case, it's a good chance to look inward at yourself and say, yeah, you know what, the state's getting in the way of how quickly I'd like to travel right now because I'm aware of the threat. But at the same point in time, why are you in such a hurry? Why do you have to be there so fast? So I kind of ask myself that sometimes. I say, well, if I'm going so fast that I feel stressed out because I can't go fast enough, I look at myself and say, well, chill out. Like, what's the hurry? So I don't know why I was bringing that up, actually. Oh, yeah, because you ask the state permission. So you drive somewhere, you ask the state permission. You're jumping in your car, since you know there's a chance you're going to see a cop. You're going to see a police officer who assumes the right to bear down upon you, assumes the right to victimize you or make you into his little bitch or her little bitch, and at least stop you in your travels or possibly hurt you, possibly kick your ass, possibly beat you or something like that. So, you know, it's a threat because you know they're out there. But if it wasn't the state, let's say we lived in an anarchy, which in a sense we truly do live in anarchy. It's just that there's a big mob that thinks that they're legitimate. A lot of people really support that mob. So you really always have anarchy. But it's just imagine we had anarchy and we knew there was some gang in our area that was out of control, which could happen in or outside of anarchy, right? We might be afraid to go out of our neighborhood, just as someone might be afraid to go out of their home in a neighborhood, even in the presence of the state, even in the presence of having an organized police force. Someone that lives in a challenging neighborhood with a lot of crime, with gang violence or whatever, might be afraid of stepping out of their house and going to travel somewhere or whatever. And that's only because they know there's a threat out there. They know that there's a group out there that is malicious and harmful and unpredictable, and that could target you at any point. So you're thinking in the mindset of, I don't want to go out into the Great Blue Wander and find out that some sick, sadistic, sickos, prey that day. So I feel that way a lot when I travel. That's partially why I kind of have this impulse towards wealth. And I've never been wealthy, honestly. I've had windfalls of cash hit me shortly here and there for doing a good job at something and earning some money at something. But I'm really trying to figure out something that's more permanent and something that's more lasting, because I want to eke out a little enclave somewhere in another country, perhaps, where there's just less government, even if it's a little bit more wild, like the Wild West, even if there's, roving desperados and bandits, and who cares? I mean, I'll be armed and I'll have maybe security or just keep my shit under, you know, on lockdown. But, it's a big dream of mine to get the fuck out of the spotlight. I mean, I'm in a little town now, and I can't go from my house to the store without knowing that the roads that are the most convenient for me to travel down. I just don't even like driving past a cop. Literally, like I'll pick up my girlfriend from work and we'll drive to the gas station and get like some snacks and shit like that, some iced tea and some fucking peanuts and chips and shit like that. And we'll drive past a cop or whatever. And I'm thinking, like, if I drive perfectly, like, perfect, then there's nothing they can do. Like, they can follow me all they want. They can pull me over. I'll be like, well, all right, whatever. But I'm just so hyper aware of the fact that cops really don't need a reason. And I'm not saying they're just going to pull you over and shoot you point blank in your car, but at this point, it's the only thing they haven't really done. I mean, if seriously, I mean, you get pulled over, they ask you to get out of your vehicle, they ask you to present documents, and you don't present them right away, or you can't find them, or they ask you to get out, or for whatever reason, you make a wrong move, especially if you're black, and it's fucked up. And I will tell you, I mean, I'm a white guy, but I'll tell you, I see this happening more with minorities, and specifically African Americans or black people, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a hypersensitive person myself, but I will refer to people by whatever they refer. Most of my friends who are black prefer to be referred to as black people. So that's whatever. But at the end of the day, that's who seems to be getting the brunt of a lot more of these sort of police-initiated forms of violence. So not a positive thing whatsoever. And where the fuck was I going? So yeah. So the point is that look at your life. Look at the ways in which you petition the state for things, and the ways in which you try to, validate what you're doing based on the fact that you're going to the state and saying, "Government, please accept me for what I want to do. Please grant me acknowledgement for being good in your eyes because I want to start a business, because I want to get married, because I want to have a child, because I want to leave the country, or whatever." So I'm not saying don't get a passport and leave the country. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is analyze what you do and see if there's another way, and also see, for the sake of being aware of just how many times in your daily life you actually stop and ask the state, may I do something that harms no one else? May I do this peaceful activity? And then it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. And then, I mean, what's a tax but a tribute? So if you buy a pack of cigarettes and you'd like to indulge, you must pay a tribute first to the state in order to feel relief, in order to feel, a moment of joy. You enjoy that. So let's see what else. These are all just interesting thoughts that I had posted up on the Facebook page for Roads to Liberty. So maybe y'all can check that out. Raise the number from 85 to 86. What's going on Facebook? We got my buddy Greg Hecht, who was on one of the Roads to Liberty shows way back in the day, about 6 months ago. He's playing with the knife. That's cool. Nothing really exciting. Yeah. Cool. So check out Twitter, guys. Twitter. All right. I'm gonna keep doing this until either I have a million fans or until Mike Shanklin says, "Get the fuck off here! You're fucking it all up, dude. Fucking it all up. You're not liberty minded. You're just stupid minded." All right. Let's see, guys. Sorry about not having a guest. I'm seriously serious. The past 2 weeks I've been so fucking busy with work that I've just been at my computer working like a motherfucker. really hasn't been a lot of shit going on. And at the end of the day, oh fuck, I gotta stop saying end of the day too. Shit. Yeah, it's just the Ebola shit. And oh, you know what? Tell you what I'll do. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently, and I thought about it while I was taking a shower before, because I figured, I'm gonna start the show late because I don't have a lot of shit to talk about. And then I said, what can I talk about? And I was trying to think of something, and I didn't have a guest. And I was like, maybe I'll just tell everyone what podcasts are in my podcast catcher. I'll talk about podcasts. So I use an app called Stitcher. Let's see if we can get a good screenshot of that camera. Oh, nice. See Stitcher? It's, at least you can see what the icon looks like. Stitcher. So you go into the Stitcher app there. And then what I do is I got all my little categories on the side. Comedy, whatever. Go to my Liberty content. And it gives you a nice little thing. I'm not paid by Stitcher at all. But you can see each show and a little whatever. Description, the icon. So I just added this one, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. He's a statist, but he has there's a certain kind of gusto that a statist is going to have towards the ideas of their nation and the history of their nation, because they're so protective of that. And I know to temper everything I hear with the bias of the perspective from where it's come from, which the direction from where it's coming from, the direction from hence where it and forth hitherto where in which it has came from to. I understand that there's a bias to everything that's said, but hold on, someone stuck my teeth. But no, Dan Carlin, he does a nice job of depicting some of these events in a vivid way with colorful language and with enthusiasm. And then if you can extract the statism out and distill it down to a fine minarchism, and then distill that out and replace it with a pure voluntarist serum, you should have a purebred conception of history via Dan Carlin. Onion Radio News is a good one. The news breaks for like 2 minutes, so I put that on the top. Penn Sunday School. This is a new addition too. Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller. He's a voluntarist. He's a libertarian. So he says, or so he might have said. I think he might have said. But he's pretty cool. He has a pretty cool podcast. I'll check him out. Freedom Main Radio, great one, but for some reason it's not working on Stitcher recently. It will occasionally update, occasionally it won't. So Freedom Main Radio, for those of y'all who don't know, you can get this on Stitcher, you can get this on iTunes, you can get this in I'm not going to belabor the point. FreedomMainRadio.com, Stefan Molyneux, he's pretty well known. Let's Talk Bitcoin, and Molyneux's great. I love Molyneux, by the way. I think he's a genius. He's a little eccentric on some things. I'm going to take everything he says, and you should never take anything anybody says 100% to heart and make it gospel. You should always put yourself in your own sense of what's right and wrong higher up on the food chain than what other people are telling you. I also like to listen to Let's Talk Bitcoin, which is a twice weekly, possibly, show, or 3 times. When they talk about Bitcoin, they talk about things related to cryptocurrency, whatnot. Freedom Fiends, freedomfiends.com, Freedom FEENS, Foxtrot Echo November Sierra, Freedom Fiends. We've had most of the Fiends on the program already. Now it's a cast of characters. Look at the little Fiends thing here. Michael Dean had some shit to talk about voluntary virtues, but I appreciate it, actually. I was listening to the Fiends the other day, and Michael's like doing the what the fuck does he call it? Oh, Libertarians Against Humanity. I think that's what he called it. Yeah. So it's a pun on Cards Against Humanity, which is a popular drinking game. And he and some other people have made a libertarian version of it, and they read off these little funny catchphrases or one-liners, so to speak, that are fabricated by taking column A and column B of the 2 different things and mashing them together in this way. and he's been reading them out. And one of them was something about like a 2 or 3 hour video cast that nobody watched on the Voluntary Virtues Network or whatever. And a lot of people would have been like miffed by that and would talk shit. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I was like, that's so cool that he gave us a shout out. You know what I mean? I'm like, of course, you know what? But look, at the end of the day, he is where he's at. Where I'm at. You're where you're at. Everybody's where they're at, and it's okay. And that's the point. It's like I'm trying to encourage people to do what I'm doing, because if I do this every week and I suck most of the time, but I still do it, and I still find 30 to 40 minutes of shit to talk to you guys about, maybe an hour sometimes. And then on Wednesday, I do my Coin Pros Crypto Talk Hour show, and I talk about Bitcoin and crypto and give you guys my fucking best sense of what the hell's going on there. That's the best I can really do, you know what I mean? And I do try. I really do give a shit about you know, what's right and trying to make the world a better place. But I think it helps to have the weekly schedule, to know, like, I got to talk to these people. I got to talk to these 45 people or 100 people or whatever the fuck it is that come back and check my shit out on a regular basis. Oh, yeah. Scream to the microphone. We have the people that think they own this geographical area known as the United States. They're having a fucking election sometime soon. Like, not soon, but like soon. It's always soon, I feel like. But yeah, CNN's talking about all this bullshit about the Florida governor's debate. Like, they're just chomping at the bit is the word I was looking for. They're just savoring at the chance. Like, oh, it's a debate. Oh my god. Fucking these retards. You see what they did with the fan thing? Like, one of them's got a fan under the thing and the other guy doesn't. So they're like, oh, we're not going to do the debate because the guy's got a fucking fan. It's on the Daily Show too, and all the media. Like, it's pageantry. But you know what? If we didn't have this, I feel like if we didn't have states, we didn't have you know, big governments, we didn't have you know, this social horizontal support for coercion across the board, I think we would have a different kind of public dialogue. It wouldn't be the pageantry of elections. It wouldn't be the pageantry of, I mean, it might just be more of the American Idol type of thing, but I feel like the politics are what the watermark is for intellectual, right? Or maybe once was. This is my idea, right? Or that it could be. And so if you put on a debate and what you see is nonsense and madness, it's hard to, you're not going to feel very intellectual watching that debate. So in the same sense, if you're creating television programming and you're going, wow, the debate gets a lot of people watching it on TV, and it's extremely intellectual and extremely blah, 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 well thought out, and, you know, just exciting and, you know, gripping and meaningful and all that, then the other shows would have to compete with that. That would be setting a standard. By setting the bar so low in the public discourse in the world of politics, I feel like the state, perhaps intentionally, has sabotaged other forms of media by saying, well, we can't come off more highfalutin and more, you know, articulate than the leaders of the country, than you know. Even Obama, for all the credit he gets for being such a well-spoken person, he's a pretty blatant pandering artist. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of original ideas. Every time I try to corner someone who's an Obama supporter or at least an Obama sympathizer, and I'm a neither supporter, and I supported the fucking guy. I voted for him in 08, which I shouldn't have, but I shouldn't have voted for anybody in 08. I shouldn't have voted for anybody ever. But the point is, anytime you corner one of those people, Obama supporter, it's just a matter of like, you know what? It would have been worse with the other guy. Like that's the last thing. It's like, and even if you get the Bush supporter at the height of the Iraq War, and you said, hey, you know, they're killing 100,000 people every fucking few months over there, or whatever it is, every year, let's just say. Who cares? It's a ton of people. It's not right. It's fucked up. You know what? We don't know. We don't know what's going on. It's better to have this guy in office than to have the liberal guy that's going to raise taxes and melt the ice caps and whatever, all this shit. Everybody thinks everybody else is out to get them, and that's why it works, because the left can play the right off against each other. They can play each other off each other. Well, really, the top down control people, the people who really run shit, aren't truthfully left or right, because they don't give a fuck about abortion. They don't give a fuck about gay rights. They don't give a fuck about taxes, because they're already so rich and powerful that none of that shit really matters to them. If their son is dying and their son's gay, their son's gay boyfriend's going to be able to go in the hospital, because the guy's just going to buy the fucking hospital and be like, shut the fuck up. My son is going to see his lover on his deathbed or whatever. All the stuff that poor people argue about, that they ask the leaders to vote over and make laws about, are things that if you're that rich and that powerful, it doesn't matter what the law is anyway. You can do whatever you want. You're home free. So they're above all this shit. As long as they keep us little people bickering with one another back and forth, no one will be paying attention to what they're doing, and no one will be paying attention to how badly we're being robbed. When they print more money and the price of shit keeps going up, and you're making the same amount of money or less, and you're getting less hours, or you're having a harder time finding a job, or the cost of an apartment's going up, and the cost of gas is going up, and you can't seem to make more than the same amount you've ever made, guess what? That's the state. That's politics. That's big multinational corporations strapping it on and fucking you in the ass because you're little, because you're a little person, because you'll take it. So sorry to give it to you so truthful, but truth is the truth, man. And you guys can handle it. Ain't no little kids watching this show. This isn't that fun for little kids, man. Honestly, I don't know who the fuck would watch this show, but I probably would, because no, it's not true. I probably would not watch this shit. No, I don't know. I watch a lot of bullshit, and I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to, back to the podcast. We got 4 or 5 minutes left of this shit, guys. Freedom Fiends, Bad Quaker, badquaker.com, Mises Institute Media, which is a podcast on Stitcher. It's like a little couple-hour segment, 19 minutes, sometimes it's 20 minutes, whatever. They just pop out like once a day or two. Free Talk Live, The Freedom Line with Adam Kokesh, The Corbett Report is a good one. School Sucks Podcast, which is a good one on homeschooling, unschooling, and all that. Around 313 episodes of that puppy. So if you tap into School Sucks Podcast and start going back, it's a treasure trove. Some Garbage Podcast with Chris Cantwell. He is a sporadic podcaster, but when he gets one out, it's usually pretty amusing. Liberty Conspiracy. That's a regular one. I don't listen to that one very much. Common Sense with Dan Carlin. I don't listen to that really that much either. I took off. I used to have fucking Alex Jones in here. I took him out. But really, I listen to Freedom Fiends, Bad Quaker when he does one a lot. I love to listen to Bad Quaker. Free Talk Live every single day, pretty much. And then Freedom Line, Adam Cook is traveling all over the country, so that one is sporadic as well. Also, if you guys want to break from the liberty scene, you don't want to feel all depressed about arguing with socialists who want a $20 minimum wage and shit like that, go get some comedy podcasts. I like, I'll tell you which ones I like. Monday Morning Podcast with Bill Burr. That's probably my favorite comedy podcast right now. He talks about sports and shit like that a lot. He's the most questioning, Bill Burr is. He's the most questioning or disagreeing with a lot of convention in the state and how things are done. Every single stand-up comedian, with the exception of, I'm sure there's a few very obvious ones, but most of them are statists. Everybody's a fucking statist. Most people are statists, but Bill Burr is much more of a contrarian, and you can even argue he's got some anarchist tendencies possibly to him. So check out the Monday Morning Podcast with Bill Burr for some chuckles. More Stories with Jay Moore. Not a bad choice. I like more choice. More Jay Moore. Got a bad choice there. And he's pretty funny. Adam and Dr. Drew have a show. Joe Rogan Experience. He's popping out podcasts on a pretty regular basis. He's on episode 562. He's been doing it for years now. I respect Joe Rogan. He's a cool dude. He's had Stefan Molyneux on before. He's had a lot of atheists on before. He's had a lot of deists on before. He's had a lot of spiritual type of guru type of people on. He's had a lot of medical shamans on. His shows are deep, intellectual. He's very unbiased. I feel like the way he talks, he's empirical. He's a questioner. He's a Socratic method type of guy. So in that respect, I highly recommend the Joe Rogan podcast. Shit, it's 8:59. Guys, you listen to me ramble long enough. I'm glad I didn't do a whole hour because that would have fucking been ridiculous. I did curse a lot today, so that'll give you something to feel cool about if you're like under 18 and you're watching this and you feel like, ah, man, I met this older guy. He's like in his late 20s or 30s and he's fucking kind of annoying, but he curses sometimes and he doesn't really plan his shit out. So that's kind of like me. And then you can look up to me and we can be friends and maybe come on the show. And then maybe one day you could like take over the show because I don't feel like doing it, anymore. And then you could take over. All right, a lot of good ideas happened today, guys. Tune in for Chuck and check back next week for a much better show than this. All right, bye.